Welcome all my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I am Hanya, your demon cinephile. Why is my face looking like this? No, figure fix that. Fix that. Okay. So, the Speak No Evil remake just came out. Came out the day after I'm recording this, so I don't know. If I hadn't said why I said that. But yeah, the movie's out and I just realized I didn't really talk about the original film, so I just wanted to sit down and do that real quick. And I say real quick, I'll probably be ranting for what 20 minutes. I'm not sure. Depends on what my brain is like. I didn't script anything. I'm just babbling. But yeah. So when this movie was announced, I'm talking about the remake right now. The remake was announced. I was so confused. Like, why people were so angry about it. Like, what's going on? What's going on? This and that. So about like 4 or 5 months ago, when the first trailer came out, I was like, okay, the movie doesn't look that bad. So let me check out the original. I checked out the original, and I can see why people were so upset with the idea of a remake, especially because the original movie is mostly in English. It is a Dutch film, and they speaking the main three characters, they speak Dutch most of the time. The secondary two leads, they speak uh I'm not sure what language they're actually speaking. They're from, how am I forgetting? How am I already forgetting? They're Danish. They're Danish. So yeah, no, the main characters are Danish, while the other people they meet are Dutch. So I'm guessing they're speaking Dutch. But that's when they're speaking to themselves and to each other. But when the characters are speaking most of the time, it is in English. Like, what, 90% of the dialogue of the film, heck, probably go to 95% of the dialogue in the film is in English. So I know most of the time it's like, oh, we want to make an American version of this film because a lot of Americans don't like to read subtitles. At least that's what I always thought of the reason why they do these kind of things. So it's kind of baffling that they would just remake a film like this. Well, it's mostly in English, especially because the first movie came out in 2022. So it's barely even 2 years old, I think, and we're already getting a remake. But yeah, we're talking about the remake and stuff right now. But that's the reason why I went to go watch the film. Like I said, like probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and was blown away because dang, it's actually pretty interesting. I mean, it took a little bit to get going, especially because the characters aren't that interesting. But yeah, but like when we got to like the second act of it, and we started seeing all the little hints and little things popping up, like, all right, I'm really getting into this. And it was like my second to third watch when I really liked the movie. No, I would say it's a good. It's not like a perfect film. It has lots of issues. I'll try to speak on that if I can remember it. But yeah, so the movie is about, like I said before, is John Bon John. I'm not sure you're supposed to pronounce the same. Keep forgetting. John and Louise. They are a Danish couple. They have a daughter named Agnes. And while taking a vacation. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is we're dealing with Europeans. While taking a holiday. Sorry, I have to remember. You call your vacations holidays. While taking a holiday to Tuscany, they meet a Dutch couple, Patrick, Karen, and their son Abel, and they hit it off. They had like a very fun, good time together. And like a couple weeks later, when they get back home, they get an invitation like, "Hey, come to Dutchland, or come to our house. Spend a week. Spend a week with us." And the wife is like, no, this is kind of weird. We barely know these people. Husband, but John, he's all for this. He's like, oh, but it's so good. It's so nice to have new friends. And of course, when they get to the house, all the freaky ass red flags are popping up almost immediately. Almost immediately. But the husband keeps going along with it. And the husband lets a lot of things go. And so does the wife. But I want to talk about the husband real quick. And I think that's like whole thing about the film. The film is trying to talk about weakness and not standing up for yourself, not being assertive. There's this one scene where the husband is talking to the other husband, Patrick, and it's basically going on where he doesn't feel like he's kind of like a man. He doesn't feel a man enough. He's not happy with his life. He's always smiling, but he never actually means it. And you can see this in the opening of the movie. I guess the first act where they get back from their holiday, and he is just going with emotions, not really enjoying life. He's at his daughter's, I guess, like a recital, and he's just full on autopilot. He does not care, and he has this idea of meeting these new people who are more exciting than them. They have this more energy. Patrick, he's this strong friend that he's never really had before. He wants to go with it. He's like, I want to be more like you. You people are fun. You're exciting. I need you as a friend in my life because I have nothing. He is full on depressed. He doesn't, well, for I can tell, he doesn't like his life. Him and his wife barely get along. I guess he doesn't care for his daughter like that because, like I said, he recital doesn't really care for it. When he has to go and run for look for the kid's stuffed animal, he treats it like with such a disdain and pain. Which, okay, yeah, you lost the kid lost her stuffed animal in Tuscany, and it's like this big city. Of course, it's gonna be a big pain in the ass to look for it. But the fact that he says it's said in front of the kid was like, all right, this is kind of a little bit messed up here. And this kind of goes back with the wife as well because she is on kind of like an autopilot too. Like she's not as bad as Bjorn, but you can see it too where she doesn't really appreciate things. Like when they're at the music ceremony, she's just taking photos, recording it. Like she is kind of glued to her phone. And like in the first act, when they have other friends over at their house, she's more pipper and happy. But when she's just alone with her husband and the kid, she's kind of dullish. So essentially, we have this couple who are kind of like sick of each other and sick of their lives. And while the wife is dealing with it in her own way, the husband is he sees these cool new people and he's like, okay, I need you. I need some friends. Like I feel so freaking lonely. I can only imagine. And at first, I kind of thought it was gonna be like a romantic thing where he was falling for the husband and they were gonna kill each other's wives, and that was gonna be the whole speak no evil thing. But it wasn't like that. But the actor's gonna give that energy from time to time, and knowing what you know. But in the film was probably Patrick trying to mess with John and trying to see if he would actually do anything or not. Because that's kind of like Patrick's character. He is a pusher. He pushes people. He wants to see their reaction. Because when you get to the red flags, when they get to the house, it's right in a moment. Basically, this is a spoiler talk. I'm just talking about the movie. Okay, I'm probably gonna put spoiler in the title for the video. But yeah, when they get to the thing, they're like, oh, Agnes, the daughter's gonna have a room with their son. And when they show the bed they made up for her, it's just a mattress on the ground, a blanket, I don't even think there was a pillow. It was just like one pillow. It was like, uh, okay, okay. Why is my daughter sleeping on the mattress on the floor? Why is she on the floor? But of course, they don't say that because, um, once again, going back to the weakness, they don't want to be perceived as rude. They don't want to be perceived as ungrateful. So we get this kind of like a epidemic of weakness, I guess you could say. There's probably a bad wording for that, but they don't want to be rude to their awesome guest that they are basically going to their house for. And when they give them these mugs, which are these little mermaid mugs, the wife is like, "Oh, you guys a gift? Oh, thank you. This is what the fuck is this? So get out of my face." Like she's ungrateful for the gift, and it's like, okay, is this really how you treat people that you beg to spend a week at your house? And then you seen this actually seen this in the trailer for the remake. The husband, the Dutch husband, the Dutch husband, he knows that the Danish wife, Leslie, was it Leslie? Yeah. He knows that she's a vegetarian. She doesn't eat meat except for fish. He's like, "Oh, but I made this lovely, lovely beef, or was it pig? You have to try it, please. I beg you to try it." And it is like, I'm not a vegetarian. I love meat, but the fact that you're a grown ass person, a grown ass woman, and this man is forcing food in front of your face, like, you have to eat it. Please try it. And it's so weird. It's so uncomfortable. Like, what do you even say in a situation? Then you have the husband. He's like, "Come on, just give a little bite." I'm sorry. Whose side are you on? Like, I I hate this man. I hate this man. Like, what side are you on? Like, he's like, "No, she doesn't really like it. Can you please stop? Can you just stop? There's nothing. There's no like veggies or fruits in your fridge that she can just have for tonight. And we just go shopping in the morning." Like, he doesn't say anything like that. He just basically encourages, like, "Go on, just eat it. Just eat it." Like, super effing weird. Next major red flag, which there's a few more, but this is like the second night that they're there. They go to a restaurant, and the Dutch couple are like, "Oh, please, come on, let's go there. It's gonna be fun." And they don't tell them at the last minute that, "Oh, it's just the couples. The kids aren't coming. We hired a babysitter. His name's Manjon. Manjorn. What's this guy's name? I have it right here. I thought I had it right here. Majad. He's great with kids, but just know he doesn't speak any Danish or English. So yeah, your daughter probably won't be able to understand him. I, and once again, the wife and husband, they just go along with it. And but you can see how freaking uncomfortable that they are, at least the wife, leaving their daughter with this strange man that they never met before, and he doesn't speak any language that she understands. But still, they just go to the restaurant and they just have a fun time. It just Patrick, the Dutch guy, he's pushing Leslie's butt. It's like, "Oh, but you're not really a vegetarian. You're a Episcopalian, and you don't want to eat meat because it's bad for our environment. But what about the ocean environment? What about the fish industry?" And he just keeps pressing her buttons about her food choices. Like, what's wrong with you? Why you keep doing this? Why are you doing this? They get up, they start to dance, but they again pushing those boundaries. The Dutch couple are basically groping and grinding on each other, and just making everything uncomfortable. And then when you get to the paying for the thing, once again, he he just plays it off like, oh yeah, oh you ate a lot. You ate pretty good today, didn't you? Saying that while he ordered all the meals. And then he's like, "Oh, you want me to tip?" "Oh yeah, sure." And just be kind of aloof. Or do you want us to pay? Oh, that'd be awesome, buddy. Just making them pay for the whole meal, and just like those subtle asshole-ish moments. Like that's probably the most realistic evil right there that I saw. Cause I had things like that happen to me, and similar experiences where they're going down the road. He's drunk and he's playing the music really loud. You know, it's bothering the other woman, their guest. He's like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's a good song." Like it's just red flag after red flag of they're clearly not wanted. That these people are trying to take advantage of them in some reason or somehow, or they want to do something else to them. But the husband and wife are just too scared to be seen as rude, too scared to stand up for themselves, saying, "Yeah, we're not gonna do this." Blah blah blah. Turn down the effing music. I have a migraine, but that's not happening here. And then we get to this part is so fucked. When Leslie is taking a shower, she's taking a shower, and you think nothing's really happening. You may think you get some little nudity, but nothing really happens. But you hear someone walk in, probably Patrick, and he's just brushing his teeth while she's in the shower, and it's this weird. They like once again, it's just weird and uncomfortable. And I like how this shot too because it's a simple shot. It just lingers. It's a one take lingers, and it's just her in the shower. But how they have it blocked, it kind of looks like she's in the corner, and have the sound, his sound invading the space, while she is looking just freaking out and nervous. Perfect. That's actually a really good shot. I really did love that one. But this gets her in the mood, I think, because she goes, their husband, they start doing it, even when their daughter tries to go and jump back into bed with them because, and she can't sleep with Abel because he's moaning and screaming, and then that's just really weird and uncomfortable because you can hear the little girl just begging like, "Mommy, can I sleep with you tonight?" And while she just riding her husband, or is it the other way? I can't remember. I watched it the other night. But after the deed is done, they banged it all out of their system because this is probably the first time they had sex in months. Because, like I said, they don't like each other. She goes to find her daughter, and she's sleeping with the other couple, while the man is butt ass naked. And that's the final straw. They get their shit, they leave, or at least that the wife is afraid to leave after seeing that. But the husband, he's just dragging his feet, not really caring, looking back like, "Oh, are they gonna stop us? Are they gonna see us going?" And while they're halfway down the road, probably a couple miles out, once again, the little girl, she loses her stuffed animal, her Numi. No, it's not Numi. Why do they call it Numi? Why am I bringing Numi into this? No, the stuffed animal. Why am I looking at this up? Why am I focusing on this one stupid detail? Ninus is she calls her little bunny Ninus, and she can't find the rabbit. She starts having a little freak out, which understandable. The kid is probably not that scared at this point of the other family, and stuffed animals. They mean a lot to kids. I had a stuffed animal. I would freak and kirk out if something happened to him back then. So I can kind of understand them thinking about maybe we should go back. But after everything that happens, like, no, 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 no. Just keep driving. Just keep driving. I'm sorry about Ninas, but we will find you another friend. We can go to Disneyland after this. We'll buy you a new bed set wherever you want. We just need to get the hell out of this. Get the hell out of Dutchland and get out of here. But the husband, you know, kind of like in the opening where he is, I'll find the rabbit for you. I'll go get the rabbit for you. Why am I speaking like that? That's not even their accent. They didn't talk like that. But when he goes, well, he goes back, drives by the house, goes in. They do find the rabbit under the seat, and I'm wondering if the husband put that there because he wanted an excuse to go back to Patrick and Karen, because that is just so in his character. He is forming this weird attachment to these people because he's so freaking lonely and desperate. And when he's in there, he is making excuses for them, like, oh, well, we had these bad moments and blah blah blah. Like, no, no bad moments. It just get out of there. Just drive. What the? All you have to say is something like, "Oh, Agnes had an allergic reaction. Agnes got bit by a snake." Say something like that. I don't know. Are there snakes in Dutch? I'm pretty sure they are. Say something like that. But no, they have to kind of explain so like why they feel uncomfortable. And their family, they're good at this. Like, well, but you didn't say you wanted anything else to eat when he made the meat. Why did you say anything like that? Oh, you got upset with us because me and my husband are just that close to each other? What's wrong with that? Oh, well, your daughter acted. She was screaming. She was crying to go sleep with you guys, but you weren't there. So of course we brought her to our bed to calm her down. All these little things were like, okay, they have a point. They have a point, but it doesn't cover all the other red flags, like, oh, forcing them to pay for dinner, the very obvious rudeness in the car driving back. Doesn't explain any of that. But then, you know, it starts going a little bit nicer. The girls have a time in the garden. The kids are playing. The men go to get groceries, and that's when they have that talk about John having his little discussion of feeling kind of emasculated, feeling that he's nothing really he can do in his relationship, and he feels useless. He he's just unhappy. He's an unhappy dude. Which is fine. It's understandable. You need a friend because you and your wife are just don't get along. But why you keep latching on to this one freaking dude? This one dude. I don't understand. I don't understand. Uh, this eventually this leads to the scene where the kids are dancing, which you see a little bit in the remake trailer. I'm not exactly sure how the remake handles this, but it is the kids have made a little dance routine. They want to show off the adults, and it's cute. It's good. The girl's a little bit more energetic and happy. She can pull it off a little bit better. The boy, he's a little bit slow. He's not really getting it, or he's just messing up. And this causes the Dutch dad, Patrick, to just keep yelling and berating the son, saying, "Why can't you do this? Why can't he do that? No, Agnes is so much better than you," or something like that. They don't give subtitles for for you to know what he's saying, but it's just so weird, and I'm gonna use a term that I feel is kind of cringy because it's kind of overused these days. It's very toxic masculinity, which I know James McAvoy. I need to stand for a second. I know James McAvoy was talking about them the new movie saying, "Oh, that's what the character's all about, toxic masculinity," and this is the first time. I'm talking about the remake, the original. This is the first time Patrick does anything that you can probably consider toxic masculinity. He is the first time he's actually visibly aggressive and controlling to their child. Because his toxicity throughout the rest of the movie, throughout the whole movie, is mostly manipulation. Is manipulation and gaslighting. He's being smooth and cool, making smooth and cool about it. This is the first time he is outright just nasty and aggressive, and it's directed towards the little boy, and it's just so uncomfortable. It is so awful, and mostly because it's kind of a real moment. Like these are kind of things that really do happen, and this is when the first time the couple, um, particularly John, Born, stands up for himself, or really himself. He's standing up for the little boy, saying, "You can do it to him. You can do it to your son. He's crying. He's bawling his eyes out. Why can't you just show him some sympathy and love?" They're like, "Oh, how dare you tell us how to parent our child?" Because before this, Karen was being very directive towards Agnes, and that pissed off Louise. And like I said, it's just a very very uncomfortable scene. You can find it on YouTube if you want to, just to look it up. But yeah, that was just a real moment. But this kind of goes to the ending, because this is where the ending gets really good, because the rest of the movie is uncomfortableness. Um, like this what the movie is: uncomfortable and gaslighting the film until you get to the last 20 so minutes, is where you hear Abel doing his crying and moaning thing, and um, Jorn sees Patrick running to Abel's room. Abel stops crying. Jorn goes outside, goes into another part of the house, or it's like it's something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. He goes in and he sees all these different photos of Patrick and Karen. He sees them with a different couple, but that couple has Abel, while Patrick and Karen have a daughter. And they go through all these different things where it's very similar photos, and well, it's just freaking him out because he sees all these different people, like, who's this, who's this, who's this, who's this, who's this. And when he's leaving that part of the house, he sees, sorry, I fell about throw for a second. I'm not sure why. He sees Abel just dead in the pool, face down. It's very dark, very shocking. This took me right out of the whole movie because I didn't know. I wasn't expecting this. Now, this goes to the whole the title of the movie, "Speak No Evil," which is has some other things to it, but the main thing is that the boy Abel doesn't have a tongue. Now, they said earlier that, oh, he was born with no tongue. He basically doesn't have a tongue. No, they cut that shit out. They cut it out so he can speak no evil. So he can tell that these aren't his parents. And this just goes back. This you think about all the times Abel um, interacted with Patrick and Karen, how he doesn't really seem to understand them because he probably doesn't speak their language. We don't know where he's from. He can't understand Dutch. He probably can't understand English. We don't know if Abel even is his real name. All the little bits of abuse was most because they were ready to, I guess, trade up for a new kid. And they found Agnes. Oh, Agnes is so smart. She has rhythm. She can dance. Oh, we want to have Agnes as our kid. So they kill Abel so they can basically adopt. And Jorn, this is his time for them to go, like, let's leave the house. Let's go. And he doesn't tell them what he found, which I don't understand why. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. They get so far. They get so far. Apparently, it didn't really matter though because they kind of already knew where they were going. They let them leave. The car runs out of gas. He goes to help, doesn't get it. Comes back. He finds them in the car with Patrick and Karen. Get in the car. If you get in the car, I'm not gonna kill you. It's gonna be fine. They get into the car. They start driving. Agnes starts getting scared, and things are shouted. Not Patrick. Jorn gets his lights knocked out. It's actually really kind of scary, but also kind of funny because I kind of want to do that to him a couple times. And then we get to the most shocking part of the movie, and the most grisly part. Shocking. It was. It was. Okay, Mahjong, the babysitter, he meets up with them. While Jorn is nose is bleeding, he's discombobulated in the front seat. They hold Agnes down. They pull out her tongue and they cut it off. And they cut it off. How they cut it off is actually a pretty good effect. Like it's probably pretty simple. I'm not exactly sure because it was kind of dark, but you can see enough where it looked real enough where it was so awful. Because this is one of the reasons why I didn't watch the movie when it first came out because all I heard was nothing but bad reviews saying, oh, they did something to a kid and they were trying to get shock value. And I'm not sure. I don't remember those reviews, but yeah, it was fucking awful seeing a little kid get their tongue cut out. Because I don't like seeing kids get hurt all the time in movies. Oh, no, it depends on the kid and depends on how it's written. But Agnes was such a little sweetheart, maybe a little bit spoiled throughout the film, but she didn't deserve that. And watching it and watching everyone's reaction, especially the woman who plays the Danish wife. Let's see her name real quick. Oh fuck, I cannot pronounce that. Sidil Semi Kot. I just butchered the Danish language. um, yeah, how she played it. Oh, it was so awful. Like the screams, the yelch, the the muffled of the girl. Like I felt like the parents. Like I felt like I was about to throw up. It's very effective. It's very effective. Is it cheap because they hurt a kid and hurting kids gets that kind of reaction in a horror movie? I don't know. I say not because it was effective and sometimes it's all that matters is how effective the scare or the horror is, and it was just a perfectly executed scene. And I kind of get and some first reviews I do remember when I first watched this were like, oh, the couple doesn't do anything after their kid gets abducted. I can kind of feel them at this moment because they just probably feeling completely worn out, no energy whatsoever. And they are just so emotionally distraught and shut down after witnessing something like that. But it comes to the end of where they actually do kill Jorn and Louise. They drive them out to this dirt road, get them to strip down, tell them to go into the ditch, and they toss rocks at them. And it's pretty brutal. It's like very nasty, but also kind of silly because they're just tossing rocks till they just till they're dead. I don't know. It's like a perfect blend of horrific, but also a tad silly. It was horrific when I first watched it, silly the second time, and horrific the third time. But And Jorn asks them, "Why are you doing this to us? Why?" And Patrick, he gives a very similar answer to, like strangers, like, "Because you're at home." But he says, "Because you let me. You let me do this to you." And that is that leaves so much to think about and unpack, because Patrick was always trying to push her buttons, make them do this, make them say this, wanting to get a certain type of reaction out of them. And maybe if he could have made them more stronger, more assertive, maybe this wouldn't happen to them, or maybe it still would have happened to them. Would they eventually just let them go because they he made them grow a backbone? Who knows? Who knows? But that is just a frightening phrase, "because you let me." Because you're too weak to stop me. You're too weak to say no. You're too weak to run away properly when you had the chance. It's like, oh, so chilling. So chilling. But the whole thing, like their evil plan and operation, because we see them going back on holiday with what's the name again? The daughter as their kid, and like, okay, they're gonna repeat the process again. Which, how many times do they do this? Do they only do this when the kid they take in disappoints them? Then they go family shopping. How much recon do they do on the people that they take in so they know they're not gonna get caught? I mean, because when you look at their little shed where they with all their victims, it's like what 20, 30 photos on the wall, and that's each one's like a family of 3 or 4. Are you telling me that, which this is probably kind of gets a little bit unbelievable when you think about it too much, are you telling me that no one suspects his family? I mean, maybe they don't have their names, maybe they don't know who Patrick and Karen are, maybe Patrick and Karen aren't even their real names for this situation, they changed it. But it's like, did no one ever say like, "Oh hey, I'm spending time. I'm gonna spend like a week with this family in Dutch. Um, here's their address, and here, call me anything bad happens, and blah 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 blah." You're telling me that no friend or family knew that knew anything about where they were where they were going, like, and then call the police or the Dutch police? You know, and maybe they move houses. Maybe they move houses. I'll give them that. Maybe they move houses. But the husband does say, like in the right before that dancing, he's like, "Oh, I don't work. I don't believe in working." Once again, maybe that was a lie. But also maybe they get their money from killing these families, taking their belongings and selling it. Maybe they do that. I don't know. It's like, I don't believe this little operation that you have can be going on for this long. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But yeah, Speaking of Evil is a very dark and depressing film. It's very uncomfortable. It's very bleak, and that's not for everybody. I can completely understand that. But when you're in that mood for something that's just depressing, it's a good watch. It's a good watch. It does make it when you go examine all the themes after watching it once or twice. It does, it's a little thought provoking. Like, okay, you could have done this, you could have done that, and I kind of relate to this because I'm kind of like the husband. I'm John, John, John. Like, I am very talkative and assertive on YouTube and Twitch because you guys can't really see me. You guys can't really see me. But when I'm with strangers and people in real life, I tend to get very passive. I I can easily fall into a passive personality. And lots of the dumb things Jordan does in his movie, I would probably do. So I can, for me, the frustrating part is because I'm basically seeing the worst sides of myself interacting in this situation where I probably won't even be in because I'm not going to spend a weekend with people I don't even know. But yeah, I can see I kind of would be like him, excusing some of these bad actions, like, oh, they probably didn't mean it. Oh, maybe they just forgot you're vegetarian. Oh, just give one bite just so you can shut them up. Like, I can see myself doing those kind of things, probably. But where it gets really bad and frustrating is when it starts hurting his family. I mean, his wife, their relationship's kind of dead, so maybe he doesn't really care if they throw a smug at her. But when it starts to affect their kid, that's when it goes, no, 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 no. Like, you, why aren't you standing up for your child? That's where it starts to piss you off. And later in the film, where the girl is get abducted, yes, I do say, yeah, I can understand them being defeated and dejected, but where's that paternal rage? Where is that? Why aren't you attacking them? Why aren't you doing anything? Like, oh, he punched me once or twice. I'm knocked out. Grab his face, smash it into the steering wheel, bite his freaking nose, go into the back seats, jab the other woman's eyes out. Why aren't you doing a single thing? And when they're in the field, in that little desert area where they're like, oh, strip, so we can kill you with the rocks. There's no gun on them. They don't have a knife. I mean, Karen has a pair of scissors, which, yeah, that can be dangerous. But they aren't. No fight, no running. It can be very frustrating, which I think is the point. Which I think is mostly the point. But it's so frustrating. uh, I read one comment somewhere that is supposed to be like a commentary on Danish government or police, like, or society in general, how politeness is bad, how bad politeness is, or people letting people walk over each other. I think I read like a comment like that somewhere, but when I tried to look it up, like, if that was the intent of the film, I didn't see it. So maybe I missed something. Maybe there is some deeper meaning about the Danish government that I am unaware of. I don't know. If you guys found the video and know that, please put it down in the comments because I'm curious. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about Speak No Evil. It is a very bleak, depressing film with the last 20 minutes being heart heart wrenching awfulness. The characters are pretty believable, but in all the bad ways, because they're just that passive, that frustrating, and this dead, empty marriage. The actors who play the villainous couple are very, very good. They are very, very good. And can I try to pronounce these names? I can't pronounce these names. Karina Smulders, Fedja van Huit. They're really good. I like them. I like them. And I haven't watched. I don't think this thing. I think this is the only Danish movie I've ever watched. But they have any more films like this, I definitely want to check them out because, like I said, they were pretty good. But yeah, Speak No Evil. Like I said before, I interrupted myself. Great, depressing, bleak film. All the performances are great notches. There's some interesting cinematography, like the very last shots of the movie are just haunting. Then just possessed by happy imagery. The music is Nothing special. I have to say. I mean, it's good music. It's very servable for um the cinematography and the story, but it's nothing spectacular. There's not. It's not a soundtrack that I want to just listen in on my free time or when I'm writing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's a great film. I understand it might not be for everybody, but if you like dark, bleak, depressing movies, go watch it. It is, I think, permanently like streaming on AMC Plus and Shutter. So if you have those, go check it out. You probably also get it on Amazon, maybe. Not sure about that one. But yeah, Speak No Evil, great film. Gonna go check the remake out in a day or two. God damn it. I mean, the remake does look good, better. I mean, not better. It does look good. I've seen nothing but mostly praise for it, which maybe it'll surprise me. Maybe I'll be wonderfully surprised, and it's gonna be a great, fantastic watch. Yeah, but until then, I am Anil, your Demise in a Vial. If you enjoyed this dumb rant, please like and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Catch you later. Bye bye.